Okay, let me tell you what I have now. I just print not all of these die cuts, paper sheets, just a few of them, because my album is not quite big. So I am sure that I print them more than what I am going to use, but I can use them later in another project. And I always like to print another paper on the back, because I prefer to see something nice instead of only the white. Okay, I have here separate the big journaling cards. This is a square. This is going to be in my page 2. Some tags. Now here I have this one in all of these tiny pieces, because they are so gorgeous. I will try to add as much as I can. I also print this pocket envelope, because I think this is gorgeous. I am so happy with this paper collection that Leah made. This is so beautiful. So also I print the 2 pages with the strips, because also they have one sheet has these images in circle. They are so cute, and the other one has this square. They are not exactly square, all of them, 2 rectangles and 2 squares, and I am planning to add as much as I can. I also use some of my dies from Fantasy and use some pink embossing powder. Also, this one is from Fantasy. I'm going to link or give you the name or the code of each one, but you can use anything you have in your stash. Okay, I already cut. Let me tell you, for the front I am going to use a design paper, and first I cut 12 of these pieces that measure 4.5, and I score a half an inch by 5.5. Then all of these pieces for the front measure 5 7/16 by 3 15/16. I use my thin holes tool to distress the edges, and then I inked all my edges with the tea dye. This is for the front, but in the back I use the ivory cardstock to add it on the back, and it's embossed also. Of course the picture is going to be here, but I like the idea of adding some texture with the same size. Okay, and this is all ready to add it with my double-sided tape. So you will see in the video all the papers that I am using, and you can use the same or you can change the order of those paper. My idea is to add this like so, and then here this gorgeous card, but I think that I am going to distress a little bit the edges as well. And let me show you quickly the way that I did it. If you don't have this tool, you can always use your scissors as well. Just be careful, because you don't want to damage your paper. And I think this is amazing, because they can add a picture on the back and journal a little bit in the front. And now, and what is important is where we are going to add the embellishments, because we don't want to crash one page with the other one. Okay, so I'm going to make one page explaining step by step, and the other ones you will see, but probably I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to that you take a lot of times here, but let's see. And also I have, let me find, I die cut this, and this is cardstock, but I use my white wax by Fina Bear just to add more, because this is so beautiful and I want to add some pieces in here. Okay, let me start adding all of these on place. Okay, so you already have the measurements. And now we can start adding these pieces. I already cut an angle, but I think there is better if we don't cut in an angle. I don't want you to take a lot of time cutting the pages. So let's see what else we are going to do. I like to combine a little bit of wet glue with my double-sided tape. Okay, this is going to be in the bottom. Be careful with the paper direction always. And because I have a lot of tiny pieces, we can use these pieces to embellish. Okay, now this is going to be here. Okay, of course the glue needs to dry. Now I am just presenting here the idea that I have, and probably it's going to look even better to add here this, but with a kind of envelope made with some vellum paper. Okay, we need to try to add this here on place. I am just trying to align it, and now I need to find this one. Okay, maybe not that here. 1 and 2, and now here we can cut exactly where we made our marks. Just be careful because you don't want to cut more. Let me check. Okay, I change. It's important that your blade is sharpened. Back, I am just going to use some masking tape to protect here. Okay. Now remember, this is the direction of this page, okay? And now let's see how much. I think this is fine. And I am just aligning here with my sides, okay? Okay, now I was thinking to add something, a kind of envelope, but there is not so much space because the cards are quite big. So what I am going to do, I just cut this piece. This is one of the strips, and I'm going to add a little bit of glue on the top and on the bottom, just a little bit. I'm going to place my card here just to calculate where am I going to add my strips. And now, oops, this needs to dry, of course. Okay, now here I can align it better, which is not. I think here it's ready. And also we can add one of these beautiful we can add here, for example, I want to see, yes, here is the space that we need. There you go. And there you go. Okay, here, before we made, maybe here I can add this one, and I can use this to add my closure as well. So this is my ribbon that I just, not a ribbon, this is in binding, and I just color this. And now here we can add. I want this close to this edge because we want to be able to open here, okay? And we need to be able to make a bow here, so I'm going to cut this piece, and the other one it's going to be here, so I just need to try to center my space. And I am not going to cut first. I want to add my embellishments here. This is going to be here. They have not the same length as you can see here. So first, let's add this. Here, I am just going to add this before it dries. Okay. I think that I am going to cut this a little bit more. I want a smaller frame because I don't want to put it and be too close to the edge. Okay, so now again, let's distress and ink this piece. This is going to be here. Yes, I think that I want to attach this one here in the top. Oh no, because we want to add the two here. Yes, that's and now Let's make here to cut the bow, and then we can cut okay. I think this is too long. Okay, let me try to add this here. And just carefully we try to okay. And now we can add our flower here with some of these embellishments, probably we are going to need some of these. Just a few embellishments. Okay. Now I am going to add just a few tiny sequins. They are so beautiful and tiny. Basically, this is what I am planning to do in all my pages. Add a few of the elements of the collection, of course, laces, and a few of these I am adding this in group of 3. There you go. Now I'm going to let this completely dry before I attach it and add I'm going to use some double-sided tape, but also a liquid glue, of course. Okay, and I think this is enough for this page, and it's so beautiful. I really love this so much, so much, so beautiful. The papers are so sweet. Okay, for the next page I already attached my papers here and here, and my idea is to attach one in this side and the other in this side, something like that. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is open the spaces here, and I am thinking that maybe no, in this case, because they are too close to the edge, let's attach this in this way. We have a lot of strips to cover that white, because I already cut this in angle. If this is straight, it's going to look much better. I don't want to go over the really top, but I will try to align it the best that I can. Okay, one it's here and the other one in this side, and I want to make a kind of pocket or something. Oh, let's see, because I like this to be more at the bottom. Something like this. I am just trying to align it with this edge, okay? And we can use some strips like this one. Okay, I'm going to cut onto my crown. Now we can add this in this side to cover that. And now we just need to find another one for this side, and probably we can use this, but I also save the pieces in between. So yes, I'm going to cut this. It's not straight. Something like this. But I want to add this here, so I would like to make a kind of pocket, and on the top we can add this. Now, because we didn't add more space here, I am just going to open a little bit of space with my ruler, okay? Much better. So maybe with some something like this. Yes, we can add a kind of pocket here. And I would like to try to cut this more straight here in the bottom. And now we can add this here. In this piece, it's going to be here. And maybe here as well. Yes, so this is not straight in this side. If you like to sew it, I never tried. Maybe in another album I'm going to try to sew it my fabric on my paper, but the problem is that my sewing machine, it's too old so it's not easy to do it. Now we are going to try to cover this here, okay? But I like the idea of these and tight this the best we can, okay? And we can cover here with another. These are so beautiful. Of course, this needs to dry. And I am just going to add some of my embellishments here, and not too much. Yes. Oh, we need to add the months as well. Really, really important. 3 and 4 we need to attach here, and they should be here. I always like to have everything. My table is not too big, so that's why it looks like a mess, but I really, really like to have everything close, because if not, I really forgot to add my embellishments. Okay, I'm going to distress this, and I will ink my edges as well, and then we can continue. Okay, before we assemble everything, I like the idea of watching how these pieces looks together, and I really love it. Okay, so now it's important where we are going to add our embellishments. In this case, I cannot add oh no, this is going to be here. Oh yes, I can add this in the bottom here. Yes, and maybe something here with this cute baby on the top, and maybe we can make a kind of, or add a tag. I have a punch to make some nice tags, and yes, this is going to be here. I'm going to add this because when we close, we don't want to crash both decorations, okay? But this needs to be more on this side, because we have here in the center this one, okay? And now let me tell you, I like to ink all my ribbons or seam binding, because it's not easy to find this kind of seam binding in Mexico. So I got mine in white, and then I use, for this one, I use just a little bit of salt water taffy. When it's dry, I just do this, well, in the ink, of course, and then in a little pot, this is still wet, I put this inside and add some water, spread some water, and then with my hands I try to do it in this way to combine the best that I can. Okay, for this one I use salt water taffy, and for this one I use old paper. Most is old paper, and at the end just a little bit of bundle sage, and again spritz water. And I think that I am no, this one, no, this one I use bundled sage and a little bit of my tea dye, and I am going to use this, and the seam binding, it's going to open, well, come from these two sides, and I want my bow in this side. Okay, this is the way that I prepare everything. This is not completely dry, but I wanted to tell you. Okay, let me move everything, and now I know where am I going to add my embellishments. And my months, the 3 months and 4 months are going to be here, and maybe we can add something inside as well. Okay, for example, here, no, yes, something like that. Okay, I need to wait until this is dried. Let's add this coming from this side. And because I am going to make my bow here, I think we don't need too much. This is coming from here. Now, because I am just going to make here my bow, now I can calculate the length here. Okay, let me do something, because I think we need to hold this with a piece of my masking tape, just to secure it in the back. Okay, there we go. Now we can work easily here. Okay, and this needs to dry, and I prefer to use the green because we have some greenery here, and I think it's going to match better. Now this, let's attach it there, and I'm going to repeat because I like it, this idea. Something like that. Now the 4 months are going to be here, and again let's repeat the same idea here in the bottom. No, maybe in this side. There we go. Now here we need to be careful, and maybe the glue, we need to avoid that piece for the glue, okay? There we go. Okay, this baby it's going to wait. Let's make the bow here. Probably I need to make my ribbon, my seam banding shorter. Okay, now this is going to be here, something like that, something like this. Then we can add our embellishments. Okay, something like this is my idea. So let's start adding all of this in the top. And I like to add just tiny dots in these delicate pieces, just to be sure this is going to be a stick. Now this baby it's going to be here because we want to be able to see it. Okay, let's remove this. If you don't have the same laces, it's okay, you can do it just with different laces. this is dried. I always like to have one that is dried because then you can remove the excess. There we go. But maybe here we need a piece of chipboard for the back. Yes, it's going to be more sturdy if we add some chippy on the back, okay? Now we need to add some tiny sequins, and I need this bottle is from Nubo Drops and I just washed my bottle and now it's easy to use this. Okay guys, I am doing something because these things happens, of course. This is the first time that I am making this kind of album, and the reason why I always prefer to use fabric hinges is because the risk that this can be broken. And the paper was, I don't remember the word, but it was falling apart, okay? So I am just adding pieces of my cheesecloth, because this is going to look not only better in this way, you can see how charming this looks, but it's going to be more secure when we attach the papers here. And in this point, we need to check if it's necessary to cut a little bit more, because remember, we didn't use any well, we use a pattern, but we cut with scissors these pieces, so probably, and you need to check if this fits or just need to distress it a little bit more. And I think mine, it's going to be perfect in this way. In here, probably I'm going to add a little bit more of my cheesecloth as I did it here, just because it looks so nice. And that's my choice. If you don't want to add this, it's perfectly okay. Now this needs to dry, and I'm going to add the cheesecloth to all my album. So this is the moment of the truth. Let's see how this comes all together. I think it's going to be super sweet. Honestly, I really think that, because the shape, which is not my original idea, I have to say that. I already watched a few different albums or cards with this shape, and they look so cute that I wanted to try. And of course I wanted to try Leah's paper, because they are so sweet as well. And I am not sponsored. I am just saying the truth. They are just amazing. I am happy that I could buy the papers and print them at home. So okay, I think we have enough glue. And now we need to check that this fits in all the sides, okay? And at the end, don't worry if you need to. Now, using my hands in the bag, I always like to use my tool, my bone folder, because it's easier to put everything together here. And of course this needs to dry. Now we need to open here. Let's remove this. I need to find my other one. And here it's important to press everything, but be careful. Remember, we have some sequins, tiny sequins here. We need to be sure it is a stick, perfectly stick. There you go. Normally, I like to work with a heavier chipboard from my pages, because we can add so many things on the pages for so many pictures, but it's really heavy to cut all of the chipboard when it's I think that I am not going to add this right now, because we need to complete here and see if we need something else to add something here. I am not sure yet, but what I am sure is that I think it's going to be a good idea to distress a little bit the edges with my tea dye. I don't want to add so much, but just a little bit. Because that's adding more depth, or I don't know. I like it. I really like it. Yes, much better. Oops. Well, we are going to have a lot of embellishments here, okay? And I'm going to repeat the same in the back. I think the baby albums are always the cutest. Okay, and this sheet is going to wait, yes, because we need to see if I am going to add something else in the front cover.